Thank you very much, Christina. Okay, I saw that we are being recorded. Perfect. So welcome, guys, to today's presentation. As Christina said, my name is Horia. I am an international pre-sales at Druid. And as all international pre-sales need to do, I will start off with a PowerPoint present. No, I'm kidding. I mean, yeah, I need to talk a little bit about the company, and I think the best way to do this is via PowerPoint presentation. But I promise I will keep it short. Let me just share the screen. There you go. So, Christina, is everyone able to see it?
Yes.
I believe it's going through.
Yes,
Okay,
it's visible.
Perfect. So, a little bit about Druid. We were founded in 2018. I believe that was also the year when we had a huge breakthrough in our relationship with UiPath, when we won the Best Connector app at the Power Up Automation Hackathon. Then, prizes started piling up. Basically, from our experience, chatbots are kind of the wave of the future. Personally, I have seen myself using chatbots and chat-based interfaces more and more often, especially in relationships with various businesses. Basically, it's easier, instead of grabbing the phone, calling, instead of just to have an, let's say, asynchronous conversation between yourself and the business. And yeah, basically chatbots are here to stay. And if you have some AI driving them, well, basically that's where the integration of Druid and UiPath really shines. So basically you can have chatbots communicating with an end user, and in the background, the UiPath robot doing most of the heavy lifting. You can have attended robot. So basically you can have someone talking to a chatbot, say for instance, a call center agent, talking to an end user, having their own little chatbot, and then when need comes, you can have the UiPath, you can have the Druid chatbot automatically start an attended UiPath automation on the agent's machine. So we actually integrate very nicely with the UiPath stack, and I will share the PowerPoint with you guys in the end, and you can see that, here in the corner, you guys are promoting us as being the easy solution that you can use to interact with the UiPath robots. Now, that's enough PowerPointing to do. One thing that I would want to point you guys towards is our website. You can find it at druidai.com. You will find a lot of the information that we have surrounding chatbots over here. But most importantly, from here, you can request a trial license. So, of course, we're a chatbot company. We will have a chatbot to assist you in this endeavor. So, if you go to the website, you can start a trial license from here, and then you can play around for a couple weeks with the Druid chatbot, see exactly the platform, see how things work, and even after attending today's session, you can integrate them with UiPath automations. Now, I've talked about UiPath. I did work with UiPath a little bit in the past, and I know that one of the easiest examples that you can have is to automate a web page. So in today's session, actually, I want to show you 3 different ways of automating a UiPath process. First of them being an attended one. Basically, I have a UiPath assistant on my machine, and I will trigger it using robot.js, or no, RobotJS, sorry, different thing. So I will trigger a robot on my own machine from a web interface using RobotJS. Second one being through an orchestrator queue. So I will put and this was, let's say, the previous way of deploying chatbots, and of interacting actually between chatbots and UiPath automations through orchestrator queues. And actually, with the recent release of Druid Oxygen, we've focused a lot on improving the user interface of the Druid solution. And you will see in just a couple minutes how we have enhanced the way that that you can develop a UI chatbot that communicates with UiPath. So the automation is quite simple. It will open a website called fake name generator. It will select 3 parameters from here, generate a user, and then by using screen scraping, it will extract the name, the phone number, and the date of birth. So process pretty straightforward. I am using the UiPath arguments as, to select the country, gender, and name set. Basically, these are the 3 in parameters. And then for the business card, I've actually, I will pass it back to Druid as an argument. So I made sure ahead of time to publish this process in my UiPath Orchestrator. You will see it over here. It's called generate a business card. If I start it, I will start it as an unattended process. Hit start, and you will see it coming from the orchestrator and running on my own machine. Of course, I changed the parameters here a little bit just to test it and make sure that it works. So let's get down to business. Basically, sorry for this. As I mentioned, we will look at the Druid platform. So the Druid platform is basically where you will hold all of your chatbots. This is what you will see once you open a tenant. Inside this platform, you will have access to all of the robots. Each robot can be configured. So you can give it a name, you can configure some of the parameters, you can configure the language that the chatbot can have. And actually, why don't we start off by creating a new chatbot? Let's name it Treant, because I'm running out of mythical creatures to name my chatbots after. So the new robot creation, the new chatbot creation, sorry, you will hear me confusing those two quite a bit. It has been created. I need to specify the security level. Most of the time, an admin and a user will be enough to have a chatbot up and running. As far as languages go, I've only selected English. Of course, you can add additional languages. The Druid chatbot platforms currently supports around 45 languages. And for the languages that we don't support, there is a partnership that we have with an external company that allows us to basically translate the utterances as you go. Basically, think of this example. You can have a chatbot configured in English, but you want to deploy it somewhere on the French market, and you will have someone speaking in French with the chatbot. This solution that we have, the machine translation, will translate the utterance from French to English. The chatbot will process everything in English, respond to the user, but after translating again, so that the user will get French response, in response. I see that we currently have a couple questions in the chatbot. Christina, you will help me by monitoring it and letting me know if.
Yes,
Perfect.
would you like to stop from time to time, or shall we let them for the end, for the Q&A?
Absolutely, no, I have absolutely no problem. And actually, if people have a question with something that I'm covering, if there's something that you don't understand, definitely feel free to interrupt.
Okay,
so if you have a question, then someone else might have the same question.
Shishira Mishra is asking, do we have any on-prem version of Druid?
Absolutely. So the Druid platform can be configured in one of 3 ways. One of them is fully in cloud. And if I'm not mistaken, this is how the community platform is. But of course, we can customize it for each. Basically, when you open a platform, a tenant, I think it's called, yeah, through the community, through the website, you will get access to a tenant in community.druidplatform.com, and you will have full access to play around with it. You can, for instance, deploy the chatbot into any of the channels that we have available here. And of course, I know that our team has been working very hard in the past couple of weeks on improving the documentation. And I can tell you that, just by reading the documentation, you're basically able to do anything with the platform. So everything is very well documented there. Including, I believe, the 3 deployment models. So again, one of them is fully in cloud, and this is required whenever you're interacting with systems such as Microsoft Teams or Facebook or Slack. There is a fully on-prem deployment, and this is usually preferred by clients such as banks, where the security measures require them to have a fully on-prem deployment. But our preferred method of deployment is a hybrid one, where we have a connector to your systems installed on your system, and most of the platform is hosted in cloud. So thank you. That was a very good question. Hope I answered it.
Okay, so Shishira, tell us in chat if that was a satisfying answer, or you need to know some more. Okay, thank you, Horia.
You're welcome. And for the second question, I think this one might be a question for procurement. I currently am still kind of new to this. I don't know exactly all the ins and outs of license procurement. But if you have a question like this, shoot me a quick email. Here, actually, let me write it in the chat. It's simple. It's horia@druidai.com. Shoot me an email and I will answer you as quickly as I can, or put you in contact with those who can answer. Okay?
Yeah, I think that's perfect. So Shishira, follow up on email with Horia, please. Yeah. Okay.
So one important step that you need to do when you're creating a chatbot is to actually publish it. And this you will see, wait, where is the chatbot? 1 second. And, oh yeah, it's on the second page. I have way too many chatbots here. So while basically right now, the chatbot is being provisioned in the backend, channel is created for it, as you saw earlier. We support a lot of channels. You can connect the chatbot to Microsoft Teams, to Facebook, to Slack, and by default, the web chat channel is active. Now, from here, you can create a theme. You can add an image URL. I like to use this website called PlacePuppy, which basically places a picture of a puppy to one of my chatbots, just to give them a little bit of personality. Let's save and close and see if the chatbot. So it's still in provisioning. This means that there's still work being done in the backend. But if we want to talk to one of our chatbots, we can talk to them from the left-hand side menu. So, for instance, if we wanted to talk to one of the previous ones that I talked to, you can access it from here. Soon, as you can see, the theme has been updated. So soon we will be able to talk to our Treant chatbot here. Now, what we introduced with the Oxygen release of Druid is actually the ability to import and the marketplace of pre-built solutions. So when you're thinking about the solution, basically you can think of this as a folder where you keep entities, where you keep basically the objects relating to a certain flow of the conversation or to a certain part of the conversation. So, for instance, if we look at one of the chatbots that I built in preparation for this, we will see that each one of the three solutions that I built contains some particular information. So for instance, the main flow contains a connector to the UiPath or some of the configuration flows. Basically, you can think of these as a logical way to group elements inside of that you will use for your chatbot conversation flows. Let me quickly check on the chatbot that we were building. So Trient, let's see, asset provision successfully. So now you will see it. So now we are able to start building our solution. So as I mentioned, we should probably start with one of the pre-built solutions, and this one would be the Druid starter. Basically, what this does is it contains an intent not recognized and a first welcome flow. This will basically save me some work in terms of provisioning, having the chatbot say a nice hello message. For this, I can go under special flows, and under welcome, I can select one of the first welcome flows. Now, how does a flow look like? Well, it looks something like this. Sorry, it looks like this. Basically, for this one, the chatbot will simply say, as the name mentions it, it will simply say a hello message. So let me make sure that the special flow was saved and that the intent not recognized flow was saved. From what you can see, the chatbot is also prepared to, for instance, if it doesn't understand a message, it can let you know. It can so all of the messages here can be configured. There's also a swear detection. Don't recommend you to swear to the chatbots. We've actually had, here actually it's at the latitude of the creativity of the chatbot creator to add funny messages or to add, for instance, more serious ones. For instance, this is the not identified answer. And if we go down here and just randomly type something, you will see actually this is the intent not recognized flow that suggests if I want to open a suggestion or if I want to go to the menu. Alternatively, it would have given me the sorry I don't understand message followed by a small emoji of a robot. I know I've talked a lot, so let me know if there are any questions at this point, and if not, we can go ahead and start building our chatbot conversation flow.
So we have one more question from
Sure.
Shanta. It says, not sure if it was mentioned already, when the chatbot runs in a regional language, how does the argument pass to UiPath by converting into English or in the same language?
So we will configure this. So the way the arguments are sent to UiPath, you will see exactly at the point where we configure the UiPath connection step. This is where you will choose your own way. When it comes to machine translation, this again depends on the translation solution that you have used. Basically, if you configure the whole chatbot to be in Chinese, of course, it will not translate to English, it will translate to Chinese. So these are configurable settings that, these are the client ID and the secret. Basically, these are configurations that you will enable. And actually, I've seen another question, does Druid Platform NLP features? And the answer is a resounding yes. There's no chatbot without an NLP, or there shouldn't be, else it's just like a question and answer machine. So while I skipped a little bit over the NLP features, this is a huge part of the platform. I wanted to showcase it a little bit later once we have some examples built. But basically how the Druid chatbot thinks is it does have this, this proprietary NLP engine that we have developed in-house. This is where one of our key strengths lies. And basically, the moment you start training a chatbot, this is when you start feeding it examples. So for instance, for the welcome flow, you can say to the chatbot, hello, or hi, or good day, how are you? Hey, good morning, good day. You can give it a couple examples, and we will see this in just a little bit when we start developing our own flows. You give it a couple examples, and behind the scenes, the NLP engine will think through them. Actually, let me show you a quick example. So this is a chatbot that we developed as a proof of concept a little while ago. For a client, you will see here that there's a huge conversation history. The solution, even though it's a Q&A, does contain somewhere around 50 flows. It's 42 flows. And from here, if you go under, let me see, I think it was either administration or, let's see, conversation history. No, let's go directly into its settings under NLP. And you can see, for instance, here that, where is it? Okay, here at test. So for instance, I'm sorry, the example is in Romanian, but you can test some of the utterances against the language that you have the chatbot configured, and you will see exactly what flow the chatbot decides to go for. Let's see another example. Let's ask if there is a boat. So for instance, the resort being somewhere more secluded, the only transfer is via boat. So barca means boat. I'm simply saying the word. The chatbot uses, passes that utterance, or passes the utterance to the NLP engine, and that NLP engine will what's it called? It will map that input to one of the possible utterances. Now, the NLP engine is configurable. So we have a minimum score threshold and a target match score threshold. So for instance, the minimum score is the minimum score that the NLP engine gives to a certain utterance and a certain confidence that a certain flow will happen. So for instance, the example that I usually give is get me a pizza. Well, the chatbot can be trained with get me something to be a command order. Well, if you tell it get me a pizza or get me a cab, you're still commanding the chatbot to do something. But get me a pizza will not be understood as a call something. It may, but not, well, it's not the case here. So basically the minimum score threshold is the minimum that a certain flow must match for the specific utterance. So of course, if you wanted to be a lot more certain, say for instance in a hospital, if you're having a chatbot that discusses, for instance, that sets up appointments with patients, you would want that specific score, those specific scores to be more certain, rather than someplace where you can have a correction. So the minimum score, anything under that gets discarded. Anything above the target match score, so the one over here, the chatbot will automatically go through that flow. Now, what happens if you have two or more flows matching between those two? So I mentioned earlier, order me a pizza could be order food, or it could be call a cab. The chatbot doesn't know. Well, with one of the flows that we imported in the starter, this case is actually treated. So there is the possibility for the chatbot to actually ask you, hey, I understood option A or option B. Which one of them would you want to go through? And then when the chatbot designer, when the chatbot developer comes into the conversation's history, it can look at, for instance, what were some of the utterances that failed. They can get a report here, and it can see what utterances were matched to which. And from there, they can retrain and they can add more phrases to the chatbot. So basically, the chatbots will become more and more intelligent as as they exist and as they interact with more and more people. Do we have a case study for Druid versus Microsoft Power Virtual Agent? I don't know, but I will get back to you with this. And do we support deployment on voice? Yes. So we are currently building. I believe actually in most flows we have an option for voice, but this one is still it's still being tested. I have seen some internal processes where you can interact with the chatbot completely by voice. I've seen one where you would interact with the chatbot in German or Italian, so you would choose the language ahead of time, and then you would just talk to the chatbot. So yes, we do support voice, but I mean, if you need if you need more information about this, I would direct you to the help section of the platform. So getting back on track, I will pause the question answering, is Druid available in UiPath community? Okay, I will pause the Q&A for a little bit and continue the pre-plan. Well, the pre-plan.
Let's leave it for the Q&A at the end, because we only have a short time until quiz time. Let's take 10 more minutes of presentation at least to be able to go through it. Okay.
Yeah. So before the first quiz, we will start off. So we have the solution here. Let us start off by creating a new solution. So here I basically want to gather the information. If you remember, we have 3 parameters that we need to pass to our UiPath automation. We want to gather that information and then basically show it on the screen. So I've created a new flow for this. Now I will add an entity. What are entities? Basically, you can think of an entity as an object from object-oriented programming. It is a box where you store stuff, where you store information, where you store dates, numbers, and so on. Now I went ahead and created this a little bit ahead of time, and in here I want to store exactly the three arguments that I will be passing to UiPath, and then a 4th one where I will store the information that I received back from my UiPath automation. To create an entity, you can add new fields here. We support a lot of data types. So you can have, you can have entities within entities, because I heard you like entities, so you put an entity in your entity. You can have emails, which allow you to have some validations over some of the fields that you are integrating here. You can have time, string, and so on. So URL. So there is a certain amount of validation that comes with using entities. Now, going back to the entities list here, I will simply link the business card entity that I created. What this means is that even though I have developed this entity in another chatbot, I will copy all of that information into my current one. The information about its general wireframe, not the data contained within it. Now, this entity I will then use inside of my gather information flow. So just one second. Okay, so gather information, entities, let's link it here as well. Save. And then within our flows, let us go ahead and create our first new flow. Now, one of the features that the new Oxygen release has added is a better way to look at how your flows look like. So for instance, these are all the flows currently contained within my chatbot, and you can see how they interact. So for instance, this one being the intent not recognized, going back to the flow map, it will go to either, well, as you saw earlier, it points me either to the menu or it points me to a suggestion, basically to follow a suggestion that someone can follow up on. And these are basically flows that call other flows. Again, we are using some of the same OOP object-oriented programming principles that both UiPath uses and any developer uses. However, the solution, as you will see, is pretty intuitive and it's very, very low code. So for instance, we are creating here a new flow, gather info. We can add a description here. I will simply gather information about the parameters. I can add information here. This is the first place where I can add an reference. So for instance, I can tell the chatbot generate a new business card. The category will simply be a business card. Over here, I can select if I want the user to be authenticated or if I want this flow to basically alert a user. Say, for instance, there was a conversation ongoing and you wanted from time to time to remind the user of something, you can use the alerts type over there. Now, going to steps, this is where we can start creating our automation. So if you recall from UiPath, basically what I need to do, let me see how I can make this a little bit more spaced out. So if you remember, I need to select a gender, a name set, and a country. And I will use three separate Druid chatbot ways of interacting to showcase this. So I've added a new conversation step over here. As a general, I can change the name. So for instance, get gender information. I will have this one to be of type choice, because in our original platform, you could only choose between male and female. So please choose a gender option. And then under metadata, by having a choice, I can go ahead and edit the two choices that I have. So for instance, I can have male and I can have female. These two choices will then need to be saved somewhere. And the place where it will be saved is in whatever I type here under input mapping. Now, I went ahead and had the business card entity created. And over here, I will save this under gender. Now, of course, there are other options that I can use. So for instance, I can block user input, so I don't have an option that isn't supported by the website that I'm using. And if I want to test my chatbot here, I can go ahead and, for instance, I have the hello message here. If I remember correctly, the utterance, it's generate a new business card. Let's go ahead and add a couple more training phrases. So new business. Let's say get me a card and new card. These are some of the training phrases. Let's hit save. And if I say new business right now, you will see that the chatbot still doesn't understand me. This is because I will need to have the NLP engine trained in this situation. So I will go ahead and have it trained so that it will understand me in the future. And once the training is completed, you can see there that the flow was still training. We will see a message here, last trained on a few seconds ago, and the status being trained. So now if I say new business card, you will see the chatbot asking me to choose one of the options. And that's it. I can go ahead and say hello, or well, I don't know how to say hi. So I can go ahead and say hi, and you will see again the chatbot identifying the other flow, the new flow that that I went with, and serving me accordingly. So let us finish gathering the information. I would say we can have the quiz right after that, and then we can continue to actually showcase the 3 different methods of interacting with UiPath. So I've created the gender step. So let us add for the new step a hero card. Now the hero is a little bit more complex than the choice, but in principle it works the same. So let's say get what is the next step? Get country. It is of type hero. Let's add a nice message. So please select country. And again, going under metadata, we have this edit button here. Now, I went ahead and went to worldometers.info to get some nice flag images, so I will use those for the buttons that we have. So let us first have United States here. And let's add 2 more cards. Let's say one for Spain. And edit the button to actually say Spain. And then a final one for Italy. The reason I'm deleting some of the information here, you will see in just 1 second, is just because the hero card is usually a very complex one. So you can have a lot of information added here. So for instance, I forgot to get rid of this description. But if if I don't, basically I am able to generate a nice looking multiple choice like the one that I have over here. Same as before, I will save the input mapping to business card dot country. Save. And now we have our second step. And then we can add a final step here of type prompt. So we will allow the user to freeform insert text here. And this is for the name set, get name set. Please insert name set. We will store the value in business card dot name set, and that's it. Under metadata, we can set this as being the last step, which it currently is for this automation, but for this conversation flow. And in order to test it, we can go ahead and start the web chat over here. Now, I lied. This isn't supposed to be last step, but actually, we will have one more step type. But I think now it's actually a good time for a quick quiz and then a small Q&A session. So, Christina, should I just prompt the Mentimeter?
Yes, I think you can do that. So I just shared the link in the chat. Guys, go to menti.com on your browsers, laptop or mobile, any browser. Go to menti.com. You will soon see a code on the screen, and I will paste it as well in chat so you can copy paste it to be able to enter the quiz. Foria, you can start it.
Let me see if I remember how. It's the first time I'm using this, so I'm still a little bit of a noob at this.
Hopefully we'll get there.
Yeah, no, we will. Okay, so let's present. No, wrong screen.
You press the YouTube screen for you.
I did not press the YouTube screen. It's just that it started on my secondary screen. It does have some music associated with it. Let me try something. No, I won't try something. So I currently see people gathering. We have 4 people in.
Yeah, we need to see the quiz on this screen, the screen you share.
Yeah, I know. Let me try something. There you go. Okay. It worked.
Okay, give the code. Okay, so the code is
77621593.
Okay, you have the code in chat too.
Yeah.
Guys, you will have, don't worry, no rush. You'll have a bit of time now to join, like 30 seconds. Just waiting for you to get there. See all the zoo family gathering up there. Rabbits, smiles, angels, burgers, bees, everyone. Get there. Get on
and unicorns. I can see the unicorn.
Yeah, and also the detective figure. The unicorn is us, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a penguin, there's a goldfish, there's Santa Claus.
Okay, guys, come on, you can do better than 27. Get on menti.com. Okay, so you have the code, you go on the platform, and then you just type in the code you have here in chat, 77621593. I feel like in one of those radio contests now.
Yeah, no, I think it's the music. I should not have added music to it.
Okay, it's okay. It's good. Okay, so we'll give you like 10 more seconds to join. There is one of everything. There's no 2 rabbits, no 2 goats, no 2 penguins.
Yep.
One of everything.
So is everyone in?
Okay, I think we can start. We're about
close
to 30.
Pressing. Oh no, we have 2 more people in. So let's give it 3 more seconds. 2, 1, and
go.
3, 2. There are still people entering. I cannot start.
Okay, we will do like 3, 2, 1, and if during 3, 2, 1 no one else joins, we'll start.
Yeah.
So 3.
Just like popcorn, as you said earlier. So 3, 2, 1, start.
Start it. So what are the 3 types of existing connections between Druid chatbots and UiPath robots? So the faster you answer, guys, the bigger the chances are for you to win. So answer fast. And of course, if you can answer correctly too, but it's important to be both correct and fast for this one. You have like 15 more seconds, 12.
So the options are unattended via webhooks.
Is it single option? It's single option?
No, this one is 3 types.
3 types. Okay.
And you got it right.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So we'll save up these numbers and come back at the end of the presentation with the second question of the quiz.
I need to mute this tab.
Daniel is saying that they were only able to select 1.
Oh.
That's weird. If you got the same code, it's weird because if you enter the code, you should have directly the same link of the platform. More people are saying the same. Do you think we could redo it to see if anyone has the same problem?
I think so. Let's try again. And now people really need to answer fast.
Yeah.
So let me reset the results here.
They are saying it closed after first choice was made. This is what they're saying.
That's weird. Click the box next to an option. Seconds to answer. I'm removing the music now.
Okay.
Let's see. So faster correct gets more points. No image and.
So it's multiple answers checked?
I don't see a multiple answers anymore. It used to be. So let's put it another way. I believe we have another question. So up until that, up until the point where we, where we figured this out. Give me just 1 second. Let me rephrase it, and I will add another question.
Okay. So we're in the quiz mending break now.
Yes. So if you guys want to go grab a coffee, but
don't leave. Will be open in a few seconds
Yeah.
to retry the quiz. So don't worry, guys. We'll open it in just a bit.
Okay, and
okay.
Of 1 second, let me also phrase it correctly. Okay, and let's hit start.
Yeah.
I believe the link is the same one.
Let's see it on screen, and we will
77621593.
So guys, get back in there.
We have 30 people there already. 31.
This is multiple 30. Question or single answer? Is multiple answer or single answer? This one.
I think it should be the single question.
The single answer, yes? Yeah.
Yes.
So it's just one answer, guys. Okay, we have more people now there. It's 31 in the quiz. We will wait for like 20 more seconds just because we don't have much time. So 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 13, 10, and now you go, Julia.
Okay, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1.
Go.
0.5.
Go. Yeah.
Go.
Go. Okay. Ooh, where do you open a new Druid tenant from? Single answer question, guys. Concentrate. You have 40 seconds to answer. Everyone has voted. Okay, we're good.
Oh no, someone actually wanted to email me.
Well, that's possible as well. No problem. The email is there in the chat and can be there.
But the approved method and the DIY version is to have a Druid tenant open from the website.
Okay, okay. So you can showcase that answer now. Guys, we'll have we will finish off the quiz at the end after the presentation with the second question. So don't worry, keep up, pay attention, stay in the session, and you have the chance to win. In all our sessions now, the leader was turned around at the end, so we had another winner. Can we see who the winner was for the first question to see whether the result will be turned around in the end?
Not sure. If I press enter, does this go to the next question?
I hope not.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
Okay, let's see who is the lead now. Who is the prime position?
So it looks like Rashid and John Workman and Alessandro and Pingu.
All the same speed, same points. That's
so
bad.
The second question will
we
be.
We need only one winner at the end. So guys, hopefully we'll turn around this result. But it's good. It's good. Competition is high.
Oh yeah. And I see people paying attention, which is awesome.
Great. Okay, let's go on with the presentation now. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, let me log back into the orchestrator. And let me look back at my chatbot here. 1 second. I need to look at, well, I am looking a little bit at my cheat sheet here because there is one more step, which actually one of my colleagues showed me, and it literally blew my mind just because of how awesome the step is. So basically, the way the conversations work in the chatbot, as you see, the chatbot says something, you can say something. The chatbot says something, you say something. As mentioned before, we have a couple different methods of the chatbot communicating with you or giving you options. So for instance, the ones that you've seen so far are the hero card, if you remember. So let's say gather info. Oh, it doesn't know. Business info, business card. Oh, come on, I thought I trained you. Okay, so one of them is the choice, as you see it over here. The next one is the hero card. As I mentioned before, it gives you a lot more information about, you know, it gives you a picture. It can contain a lot more complex information. So let's, for instance, choose Spain for now. And you can also have a regular prompt where you say something like German, and that is a regular name set. Now, there are moments when the chatbot will actually say the same message that that you wrote to it. So, for instance, if we use something like choice or something like thumbnail, the chatbot will actually say the same message that that we gave it. So in here, we will actually define the three different automation types that we want the chatbot to do. So as mentioned before, let's say get automation type, and then by using NLP, basically the chatbot will say that message back to us, and by using NLP, it will basically get re-triggered with the appropriate automation. So which automation type do you want to choose? Give me just 1 second. No input mapping. So by skipping the input mapping, it's basically just like you saying that back to the chatbot. Let us edit. So let's get rid of the image URL, title, subtitle. We basically just want to keep 3 buttons. So the first automation type that we want to have was the webhooks. The webhook based one, which is a UiPath unattended. Sorry, the attended I'll add now. Attended and attended, and the final type was by using queues. So let's hit save. And again, we can look under metadata and see exactly how the chatbot will display that specific step. Saved successfully. So if we go back to preview, we will see one of the 3 options. So what do we do next? Oh, of course, we can log the user input to make sure that the user doesn't just randomly type something there that confuses our chatbot. Worst case scenario, it will just start another automation. But this is the moment where we actually get into the UiPath connection, and this is what you guys are here to see. So there are 3 steps that we need to follow. For instance, for the webhook based connection. So let us create a new solution for this that will contain the unattended automation with webhooks. We can add a description here. The category will be the business card generator. The bot is the one that I have here. Version number, provider name, save. Now I will choose that solution. And the reason why it's a good idea to split your flows into solutions is that if you want to ever use the same solution in multiple chatbots, you can easily do so by exporting that specific solution, or the opposite, the complementary solution, to import it into a solution that you have. So you can go ahead and start building your own library for this. So let us go to unattended automation. And the first thing that we need to do is to actually create a UiPath connector to our orchestrator. And in order to do this, I will actually connect to my orchestrator and split my screen into two. So to build the connection string, I will give it a name here. So Dryad connector, for instance. It is of type UiPath. The bot is the chatbot that I'm currently looking at. And then I need to populate these four fields: user key, account, logical name, tenant name, and client ID. To get these, I will go into the automation cloud, click on manage, get to my orchestrator tenant that I want to connect to, and then go to API access. Simply copy and paste the items from the left side to the right, from the right to the left, because basically from the orchestrator to my Druid interface. And then in order to test this, I can simply click on Get UiPath Folders. And as you can see down here, the folders that were available in my orchestrator were successfully retrieved. I will hit save. And you will see a Druid endpoint URL having been created and an endpoint secret having been generated. Let's test this connection, and we can see that the result was successful. The next step, so we built our conversation. The next step is to actually have a conversation flow that allows me to start an unattended automation. So let's hit OK. Let's close here and here, go back to our orchestrator. And actually, one thing that I forgot to add is from the apps, from the connector. Let's edit it. We also need to configure the endpoint URLs, basically the communication back from the orchestrator to us. So for this, we will go back into the orchestrator. And under my tenant, I will go to webhooks, remove the one that I used for testing, and add a webhook. This is where the URL that was generated for me will come into play. This is the endpoint of Druid. And of course, the secret, hopefully you guys didn't write this thing down and didn't, you're not connecting to my orchestrator. Now, in terms of events, you can send all of the events, but we recommend to only keep track of the job completed and job faulted events, since these are then later used within the Druid automations, within the Druid conversation flows, actually. So now that we're done with the hard task of configuring, we can go to the easy task of defining our unattended with webhook flow. So let's just copy the description: utterances, This is the trick that my colleague showed me, and this is where you can use the options that the thumbnail will provide, since you're not storing it in a variable or an entity, to trigger the new conversation. So I've created a new flow. Let me add the security roles to it. Saved. And then under steps, we will go back to the flow builder, add a new message that can state that we're currently building an unattended automation. There you go. So under general, we can, as we did before, we'll simply have a message stating starting unattended automation, type message, starting unattended, and prepare to be amazed. Basically, in our Oxygen release, we've actually added a step of type UiPath. So in this kind of step, we are looking at the 4 possible scenarios that can happen when communicating with a UiPath process. So you can successfully send a request where you can notify the user with a message saying that the request was successful, and then not break the conversation flow. So think, for instance, that you have a process, an attended or unattended process that takes somewhere like 10 minutes. You don't want the chatbot to simply stay around and keep you busy with while it finishes. So the Druid conversation will actually keep on going. So you can add steps after this to notify the user, hey, you can keep talking, you can ask other queries, you can end the conversation here, and then wait. Basically what happens in these last 2 steps is that the chatbot will wait for the conversation to finish at the UiPath level. And once it is done, if it senses a break in the conversation, so for instance, you're talking to the chatbot, you're ordering your pizza, you're telling it what toppings you want on it, you don't want at that moment the chatbot to tell you, when you're between choosing the sauce and choosing the toppings, to tell you, oh yeah, by the way, I finished the automation. No, the chatbot will patiently wait until the automation, until you've ordered your pizza, until you're done with the conversation. It will wait for a couple seconds, and then it will give you back the results. And this is actually what happens here. So for instance, we have built our object up until this point, and we basically want the value that will be stored in the business card entity. And in order to configure this, there's one last step for this, and that is to actually have the UiPath and the chatbot communicate. So for this, we will create a new integration. Let's call it connect to UiPath. Same description. The category will be the business card. The bot is the same one from here. We will store the data that we send to UiPath in the business card. We will retrieve it back into the business card, and let's hit save. And this action, connect to UiPath, will have one task, and that is to start a UiPath unattended process. This is where the magic happens. So basically, we are connecting to UiPath. We will use a connector code, the one that we defined earlier in the app. You can see here that we were able to retrieve back all the processes that we had defined in the orchestrator. If you don't believe me, I can show you that these are all the processes inside of the Rolodex folder. And we will use the generate business card. Yeah, I shouldn't click anywhere else until I save. Job priority, let's treat it as a normal. Job type, we're doing unattended. Let's do unattended. Execution target, or allocate dynamically. The Druid entity is the business card. And now we can load the arguments. And what this allows me to do, basically, I get the arguments that the UiPath automation needs, and then I can fill them with their appropriate requests from here. So add the gender, add the name set, and add the country. Save. And these are the input arguments. Now we also need to get a response. And I will load the arguments, the out type arguments from UiPath. And as I mentioned before, I will add them to the business card entity here. Let's publish. And then we can finally go ahead and test our automation. So let's say that I want to generate a business card. Let's choose mail, for instance. Let's choose Italy. And just for the fun of it, let's have a Hobbit name set. We will do an unattended via Webhook. We see that the request was successful. And now from the orchestrator, we received a mail Hobbit from Italy. Of course, I left the message box here just to check that everything is okay. Everything looked okay. It was gorba.grob with this phone number, but we will soon see it in the conversation as well. So right now, the chatbot is waiting for that response from the orchestrator when it will, oh yeah, no, there you go. So it waited for the response, for the pause in the conversation so that it can provide me with the answer. Now, of course, I cheated. I used the unattended as well. It was a robot on my own machine. But in a similar fashion, you can configure the attended chatbot. And for this, I will actually go to my previously defined, to my cheat sheet, and show it to you here. So for the attended, there is not much that is different. You will see the same, well, I call it spider. It's basically the same type of automation and the same steps. Actually, I think I played around with it on a different chatbot. Sorry, just 1 second. The attended. 1 second, sorry for this. Yeah, so for attended, metadata, set variables, no. So, well, of course, now it's a weird situation when I would probably go to the help section. So in here, you will see that we have some recent highlights. I will look at the RobotJS integration. You will see that if you are hosting the chatbot in a custom web page, so how do you do that? Basically, you go to the chatbot, to the settings, and under theme, you have a snippet that you can simply copy and paste and integrate your chatbot into any web page you would want. Now, if you want to be able to trigger the UiPath robot from an attended session, you would also need to add this script. Now, to set up the UiPath robot, you will follow the same steps, add the UiPath step. The only difference being that instead of having an unattended step, you will have a step of type attended RobotJS. So let's get back to our chatbot here, and I will actually reuse the same solution that I used earlier. And when we defined the UiPath step here, instead of automation unattended, I can simply choose automation attended. The connection code, it's again the Druid connector. Now the process will be loaded, and I can simply set up the parameters from here. As I said, you can trust me, you can take my word for this, it will work in the exact same manner. Now I know that I wanted to also cover one of the the old version of attended processes. This one basically would use an element of type UiPath, an activity actually of type Druid connector. But I think since we are running a little bit out of time, and I see that there are a lot of questions, I would propose to have this as a secondary one. Christina, what do you think?
I propose that yes, perhaps we start taking the questions, and I don't know, perhaps we can form a follow-up session to address the rest. You will have the deck anyways.
Yeah.
The alternative would be to address the questions in email answers, but I don't think that would be very fair.
I think it would be nice for everyone to get the answers now.
Yeah. Because usually the queries are more than one person, so I think we should address the questions now. And yes, it's clearly that we have material for follow-up questions. Okay, there is just another question popping in. So let's start taking the questions for you. And
if you're able to extract specific info from free text, thus avoiding regular expressions, yes. So in the well, I will refer to the help section just because this one's the fastest for me. So named entity recognition is supported inside of the Druid platform. So for instance, in this example of transfer $100 to Mary, you will see that the chatbot can extract the amount, the currency, and the recipient name from the context of the conversation. So yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll take them in order as we have them now. So we have a question. This question was actually asked twice by two different persons. So is Druid available in UiPath community? We have an enterprise license. Should we have to buy a separate license for Druid chatbot?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I do not know a lot of information about how licensing works, but I believe that a license is required. As UiPath has their own community version, we also have the community in here that you are free to use for your own processes, as long as they don't go into production.
So guys, I will leave my email address in the chat, and you can place these questions either to me or to Horia by email, and we will come back with the answer about licensing. There is no problem.
Basically, Druid is a standalone product. So, we integrate very nicely with UiPath, and we work very close with UiPath, but I think that a separate license is required. Not I think, I know that a separate license is required.
I think we might have some hybrid deals between the two, but I'm not sure. It's better to address it after we have the whole information.
Yeah.
Okay, so from Stephen, can a chatbot be multilingual? We have a lot of community languages amongst our citizens.
Absolutely. And for each chatbot, you can define multiple languages. The only caveat here is that you will need to provide utterances for each individual language. But this doesn't mean that you cannot change the language of a chatbot on the fly. So for instance, you can have in the intent not recognized flow, the option to, for instance, to provide the user the option to change the language. Now, a small teaser, I know that in the product roadmap, we are also planning to have some automatic language understanding, but unfortunately, I don't know the timeline for that. But say, for instance, you say something to the chatbot in English, and then suddenly you decide to switch to Spanish or to Italian. Soon the chatbot will be able to pick up on that and switch the language context accordingly. Of course, as long as it has been trained for that language.
Okay, I think that's a great answer. Okay, so we have from Mufi quite a lot of questions. I think I will pick two. So can you fulfill end users account statement checking request as in by doing process automation?
Sorry, can you
Can you fulfill end users account statement checking request as in by doing process automation?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you can start the conversation from Druid. The Druid chatbot will be able to connect not only to UiPath, but we support native connections to CRMs, to databases. So data from there can be retrieved. Actually, one thing I didn't mention, REST and SOAP requests. So for instance, if you have an API available, we can have the chatbot directly communicate with that RPA. So, you can, with that API, a lot of TLAs here, three-letter abbreviations. So you can connect to an API, you can connect to databases, you can connect to CRMs, and of course you can trigger UiPath processes. So any business process, be it highly complex or in low complexity, can be accommodated either from within the Druid platform or through a combination of Druid and UiPath.
Okay, I think we have an answer to a tentative answer, but I will tell it. But also for those of you who really want the answer, please write an email about licensing. This is to the licensing questions. From Adrian says there is a separate license fee for Druid. However, you are able to buy it through your contract with UiPath. In additional L1 and L2 support is provided through UiPath. So there is a hybrid deal, as I said before. But if you want the full details, please write to us on email. Let's move on with the questions.
Thanks, Adrian.
I will take just one more from Mufi. Is there marketing automation also built in here to track users, event, and behavior? So if you have marketing automation on Grid.
I would say that the answer is yes. Basically, you can track. In the dashboard, you can see exactly how the users interact with the chatbot, and we also have history and logs from where you can see the conversation history. So, for instance, you can select the bot, and you can see exactly what was said to it. You can get these reports. Of course, these reports have to sit on a database, so you can get reports from this, you can get reports from that specific database. So everything is, the utterances are tracked. You can see exactly who talked with the chatbot, be them anonymous or be them authenticated users. So yes, the answer is yes, you can do that.
Okay. Let's take another question. This is from John Workman. Where is the best place to get technical help? Is there a forum where specific technical questions can be asked?
So Andrea, my colleague, actually answered this because we have, Adrian, sorry.
I think
okay,
Andrea,
so Andrea answered the marketing via the conversation flows, and in the solution library, actually, yeah, something that that I didn't mention. We and you will see in the deck. Basically, we have a lot of pre-built solutions that you can simply plug and play and start automating, not from ground up, but by hitting the ground running.
Sorry, I'd just like to mention that everyone is able to unmute themselves now.
Oh, perfect.
I'm sorry, yeah.
So when you go into import solutions, you will see here that we have a live chat ones, we have customer service pre-built solutions, we have solutions for e-signature, for financial services, for authentication through Facebook, for HR, and and of course the ones for UiPath. So these solutions are actually plug and play. The one that I wasn't able to showcase because of a lack of time was the UiPath Unattended with queues, which basically is a plug and play that allows you to use Orchestrator queues instead of webhooks to communicate, to basically trigger the conversations. The solution that I showcased is a little bit more elegant. That's just my humble opinion. But yeah, this solution library is actually being built as we speak. More and more information is added here, and more, let's say, starter products are added. So all in all, yes, we have things that are pre-built, and as I mentioned, also in the sales deck, you will see some of the use cases that that we have already in place. So for all the industries, and of course, you can find the same or a lot of the same information on our website. So we have solutions for retail, for healthcare, for HR, IT help desk, sales support, and so on. But the best place to go is druidai.com, and here you will see the various types of chatbots that we have. You will see information about the platform, and of course, don't forget about getting the trial license. Now, Christina, I would suggest to have the final question
the quiz,
of
yeah. Let's close the quiz.
Let's see. So I need to bring it back here, and I need to do. Oh, I put a full screen.
Okay, so guys, go back on menti.com now. Okay, can you get the question on screen? No.
Let's see.
Actually, let's see who's joining. Yeah, let's see who is joining. The code is the same. So you have 77621593 as the code. Let's see how many people join. So we have 23 people now in the platform. Let's wait like 10 seconds.
Wait, where do you see that? Oh yeah, down here. Okay.
Yeah. That's the Zoom number there.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I was expecting again the bubbles to pop up on the screen.
No, I think the icons are already assigned, so that's it. If you were a paperclip, you're a paperclip. If you are a unicorn, you're a unicorn. There's no going back on that.
Oh, there is going forward. You can become a decacorn.
It doesn't get more sci-fi than menti.com.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we can place the question. We're at the stable number now, 25.
Okay.
Yeah, let's
Count
place
down
the
again. 3, 2.
Is it single answer? This one?
Yes.
Okay.
Guys, I saw someone else entering. So once again, 3, 2, 2.5, 1.
Start.
Enter.
Okay, so guys, answer fast. What is one of the existing connections between Druid chatbots and UiPath robots? It's quite a lot of time for answering. Quite a lot of time for Googling that information.
Or for calling your help, or calling your colleague for help.
Calling your UiPath friend. No, I'm sure most of the people know the answer to this. Okay, so we're getting close to the truth now.
4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up.
It. Now we'll see who is the winner. Okay.
Oh, some people fell for the trap.
Yeah, you had to put a trap there. You just had to.
Everyone has to. Okay, so I believe that if I go here, we will finally see the leaderboard.
Okay, let's see who is our winner.
And it seems that John
Wortman is our winner. So John, I will write my email here in the chat again. Please drop me an email to claim your prize, and you will certainly have it. Yes, just write to me, tell me I'm John Wortman, I won the quiz today. Please give me the voucher I deserve. And congratulations, of course, you managed in a tough competition. Okay.
Congratulations.
So now I will I think I should go to a few community slides and then we'll end it because we're close to the end now.
Sure. I stopped sharing. So Christina, you have the floor.
Okay. So guys, just bear with me just a bit more. Can you guys see my screen now? Like you should see community.uipath.com. Wait. Okay. Does everyone see community.uipath.com? Yeah. Okay, so basically
Yes.
this is our platform. I think most of you are already familiar with it. Those of you who are not familiar with it, please check our platform because it's filled with resources. We have a great community. Everyone is here to help each other. We have a great forum for that. You will find the forum right here in resources for every technical question you might have. You will find the full training on Academy. And of course, meetups such as this, upcoming events, you can find it here. Also, you can go, if you're not yet joined, if you haven't joined the community chapter, we have chapters all over the world and we can start new chapter. Just go here or up, search on the map, search for your chapter, click, go to the chapter and join your chapter to see who is the local community, to see what upcoming events are in your local community, who is the chapter leader, or even you might be the next chapter leader, who knows. So please join our community, check out our platform and give us feedback, of course. And one more thing we have to tell you is that we currently have a challenge available on UiPath forum. So we have the UiPath Cloud Masters Challenge started. This is a 5-week challenge with Google Cloud, Azure, AWS, IBM Cloud, Heroku. Each week, new solutions involving different technology. At the end of the week, of course, every week there is a prize. And of course, there is an all-time winner at the end of the challenge. Please try to check out this challenge on the forum. It's not a hackathon, but it's a pretty complex challenge. And you can join as many weeks as you want. Out of the 5, you can join all 5 or just one. It's no problem. There is also some tough competition there, but this is a beautiful competition. So I hope you truly enjoyed this presentation we held today with Druid. I hope you enjoyed Horia's presentation. His skills.
Thank you for having me here.
His skills and of course the breaks. I think it was really entertaining and the breaks were welcome. Thank you everyone. And if there are additional questions, just pop an email and connect on LinkedIn. And don't forget to check out the community and go to your local chapter. Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks a lot, Christina. And everyone have an amazing rest of the day.
Okay, bye-bye. Logging out.